serious problems.
Right, Jimmy, what's your serious problem?
Mate, my serious problem is that apparently me and also the whole of Akadali is on the complete smell, mate. We're all super shit. So we had like, I think all of us had like one good race and then the rest has been crap. So need to step it up this weekend, otherwise we're absolutely screwed.
Lars Hagen is saving the teammate.
Lars Hagen, yeah, that's true. But can he, or like, okay, I'll rephrase then. The Team Akadali International. But we've got Joe Davis coming in this weekend from the US, so he's gonna push us all up. He's gonna carry the boat.
Before we go on to talk about the races this weekend, now that we talk about Akadali International, what's up with Youngie? I actually haven't spoken to him in like a year.
Yeah, Andrew Young, for those who didn't follow actually, he just trained 7 months and then he did like literally 1 second of a race in Baito. He did the classic sprint and immediately pulled one of his hip muscles, so hip flexors, and so he's not been training constructively for the last few weeks, and he's actually managed to also get ill on top of that. Which is, I'm laughing, but I feel bad for the guy. So,
Yeah.
But he's better now. So he can skate, and so he's gonna come to Davos.
Is he?
Yeah, he should be back on track. But that's why he was not racing last weekend,
Okay.
and in Trondheim. So yeah, but he should be back hopefully.
Right, thanks for the update. Now, let's start Friday, mate. Give us a wee debrief of your sprint. The good thing is also it's going to be a very short debrief because you can mainly tell us about your prologue.
Yeah, no, okay. I mean, classic sprint is tough for me anyway. But like this year, particularly with everybody being like on edge to try and be super good for the Olympics, so I think the level has taken a step forwards, and it was
think
kind of
so?
difficult conditions with grip. So it was a bit like either you'd have too little grip or too much. So the good skiers, the good technical skiers like Klabo and so on did well. But it was, I had too little grip when I tested, and then my waxer added different type of wax, and then I had way too much grip in the race.
Do you think Alvar Mühlbeck was satisfied with his grip?
Mate, that is exactly what I was going to say. Like, that's why I think it was so beneficial for Alvar Mühlbeck to double pole the race. Because it was kind of fast conditions, but difficult to get good grip and good glide. And he's just a machine in double poling, and they didn't put a classic zone. So then,
But even if you take into consideration, like maybe people that aren't following skiing like insanely close, oh, I guess those people probably wouldn't listen to the podcast. But anyways, if you watch the sprint and especially you watch the heats, like what makes his podium even more insane is that his skis compared to the Norwegian skis, even though that he was double poling, they were just on a different level. Like the Norwegians, I don't know, but they had such good skis. They were so fast. If you look in the downhills, Mühlbeck was struggling to stay in the draft sometimes. And I think even in the final, he got like a bit of a gap even to like the lead group, like our lead group, that's like a wrong word, but to like the leaders going into the finish straight. And then, I don't know, I think he just double poled like 12 kilometers per hour quicker than everybody else on that finish line.
yeah, no, I think he was just so good at the finish as well. But
Yeah.
I don't know, like you're talking about the skis, but I think actually skate skis are not necessarily faster than classic skis in pure downhills, you know, like especially when it's like clister conditions, so you have skis that are a bit higher, and if you like lean back, the wax shouldn't be touching the snow, and the classic skis are longer, so quite often in direct line you actually have better glide on classic skis. So
I can agree on that, but I do, and I don't know anything about Matsus at all, but I do somewhat suspect that he was going on double poling skis now.
I actually don't know. I actually have no idea.
We should have done some investigation here, mate. Oh fuck, we haven't done any research, mate.
Yeah, but this is this podcast, mate. It's just us blabbing shit for a couple of or a few minutes. But yeah, I don't know, but the thing is, I don't know that Matthews has double pole skis. Like,
I don't know
that
either.
Fisher has double pole skis, that's for sure. And I know
Yeah.
that both Atomic and Salomon have been developing double pole skis, but it's not like a super easy thing to do. So I'm not so sure that he had double pole skis. But I
Yeah.
think what was sure is that he was an absolute tank going up the hills. Like, oh my god.
Unreal.
I don't think this has ever been done in a normal classic sprint to be that strong at double poling and actually the going without wax working. I know that Oscar Svensson did it, I think, in the final in Oberstdorf World Champs.
Yeah.
And like it's always kind of like it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's a desperate move sort of thing. And the fact that he managed to be on the podium with that when he's still is he still under 20 even?
I think so, yeah. I'm not
Is
sure
just-
if he's still under 20, actually.
I think he is.
But it doesn't
he's-
matter. Anyways, it was
unbelievable
unreal.
performance.
And the way he was double pulling up that hill, it looked like it was flat. Like, he's still in such a high position, still so strong on his poles, quick to get up. Unreal. Yeah, I was
Because yeah, and
that
there's
impressed.
I don't know if people realize that there's a difference between winning the Vasaloppet sort of double pole, so like these long double pole for a few hours, and then like sprinting for 3 minutes double pole. That's like
Yeah.
honestly a big difference. So
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
massive. But who else
Unreal.
was good? I think we should mention Lars Hagen being an absolute tank. First World Cup, straight to the final, top 6. I mean,
Unreal.
he was 4th in the end. It's like he was
Yeah.
going to be on the podium. So that was unbelievable, to be honest.
Crazy, yeah. Crazy. But also, the sprint was honestly such an exciting race to watch, especially the women's sprint final. What? So Lara Gimler crashes on the top, breaks the pole of what's her name, Jonna
She
Sundling.
crashed. Did she not crash with Lynn Svan and broke the pole of Gianna Sindling?
Yeah, so they crashed together, broke Jonna Sundling's pole. Jonna Sundling gets a new pole, is quite far behind, does an insanely good uphill there, like the climb, goes almost all the way to the front. Did she not go in like second, I think, or I think second into the downhill, maybe third?
Third position, yeah.
Third position. Crashes again on the top there. Is like
Mate, but the way
Unreal.
she crashed and then jumped back on her skis, that was nuts.
Yeah.
I was like, how did she even manage to do that? Yeah, that was wild.
also, are we going to talk about Christina Schistad going out in quarters?
But honestly, it's not the first time this has happened that she's on the limit in the quarters, and quite often she's like tiny bit lucky, like just a lucky loser.
Yeah.
And then she just dominates the semi-final and the final. So I don't know what's up with because that's normally what happens more to like endurance skiers that struggle to go through the quarterfinal, and then when they go through, they do really well. But she's definitely not an endurance skier, so I don't know
No.
what's up with that.
Yeah, hard to say.
think-
Also, should we give some attention to Klæbo winning his 100th?
Nah.
Okay, just go on then. Right. Okay, sprints finished, mate. Skiathlon. Well,
Yeah.
you don't have so much to say about skiathlon because you didn't race it. But I tell you
Yeah,
what,
but
boy,
I watched it, so I have a lot to say.
we went so fucking fast on that second classic lap. I was like, please help me. It's unreal. I was just we went up from the stadium in the second lap, and then I saw that Evo went to the front, and I was like, okay, this is probably gonna be quite fast now. And then we just absolutely hammered it up that hill. And then I think it was, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was Nien that was taking over on the top of that hill there. And then you just saw like 3-4 meter gaps occurring everywhere. But you know what? The problem with this track is just there's like these long downhills that end in like corners. So like this whole harmonica effect, it's just it's unreal on this course. So as soon as there's like little cracks in the pack, and you think like, okay, now we're gonna get separation, it's just and it shoves it all together, and you're back in a group of 30, 40. And I think
break.
yeah, but it only breaks like at the end of the race, and then we're already skating, and like the skating lap, honestly, it's so easy, and then the speed was so high that, I mean, Nienget was trying to set pace there quite a few times. Sjordner was trying. Actually, even Muzzy was. And I tell you what, he was going...
Muzzy told me, like, I tried to go fast for a bit, but then I got instantly fucked, so I went behind again.
But when he was trying to go fast, I tell you what, he was actually going quite fast.
Yeah.
I was... because I think he went out of the like stadium climb, I think. So the first climb of the lap and the second lap, I think. He was hammering there, and I was like, this is not so chill, actually.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, but it's impossible to ski away from people. So I just remember being in the last lap, and then I look ahead of me, and I was about in 10th position or something, and I just look ahead of me, and I only see red suits, and I look behind me, and I just see Deloge and Muzzy, and I was like, yeah, this is we're kind of being NPCs on the Norwegian Cup now.
Yeah, mate, it was actually impressive how strong they were compared to the rest. But like you said, Ivo was setting the pace in the classic, and then he entirely disappeared in the skate.
But that happens on every skiathlon. I think when he got his bronze medal in Beijing, I think that was kind of the only time ever that he didn't like kill himself completely in the classic part of a skiathlon.
Yeah, I think he knows he's better at classic, so he just tries to kill everyone, and then when he does the transition, it just explodes completely. But
Fun story, I met him after the race because he was actually having a hotel room across of mine. So I meet him just outside the hotel room, and I was like, Ivo, you almost killed me on that second lap. And then he looks at me just like these Finns can look, like with zero emotion. And he's like, yeah, I did not succeed to kill you, but I killed myself. Yeah, good times. But yeah, that was Norwegian Championships. The women's skiathlon was also very untypical because there was like a group of, I think, 10 people going to the finish, which in women's races literally never happens.
Yeah, that's true. But it was, like you said, it was fast conditions, and but the most impressive thing was Diggins didn't collapse on the finish.
She did not collapse on the finish, but she did collapse when she was trying to change her skis and crashed together with Carlson. What the fuck, mate? That was unreal. That was a good scene. I think they're gonna rank high up on the NPC awards for this weekend.
So unnecessary. Like she was trying to
very unnecessary.
On the in the exchange, it was a bit weird, but
yeah.
I mean, why not? It was made a bit exciting TV.
Yeah, good times. Also, what's fun, after the race, I met Kiko Pellegrino, and then he was just so angry about all the Norwegians being in front because he's super against the national quota. He just wants the national quota to be scrapped. Which, to be honest, in this case, there is something for it to say because you have to ask yourself the honest question: what does it add to the race to have 12 instead of 8 Norwegians on the start line there? It's just an honest question. I'm not saying they should scrap it, but we should be allowed to ask ourselves, okay, what's the benefit?
We should also say that 2 of these 12 are under-23s, and 2 of these 12s, so the 2 under-23s didn't keep up with the front group. But then, how many were there in the front group of you, Mika?
I think 10, yeah, because I think Iver was 11th.
Okay.
I was 9th, then Deloge was 10th, I think, and then I think Iver was 11th, and I think he was the last Norwegian in the front group. So yeah, 10 Norwegians, I think, 9 or 10.
9, yeah.
Yeah, unreal. Anything else about the skiathlon?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
but I mean,
right.
And that was kind of exciting. Being the Swedish and honestly, the Swedish were Heidi Weng being like second is pretty cool, and like Iversen being back on the podium, that's also quite kind of exciting after like 5 years not being on the podium.
Very true.
Like, yeah, but I mean, he's gonna prove me wrong, but Iversen I feel like he's so good at doing well when he needs to get selected for stuff. With the slight exception of last year for the World Champs. But then when he has to perform when he's selected for stuff, then sometimes he struggles. So there's many years where he was like on the limit and then got selected to Rukia, and then didn't manage to get selected to Rukia. But now he's proven in goal and in Trondheim that he's good. So if he goes to the Olympics, Is he gonna perform Olympics? That's the real question.
I'ma just say here he's not gonna go to Olympics, and that's not because I don't want him to go to Olympics, but because there's 7 spots for Norway at the Olympics as of now, and I don't know, but I just don't see him fit in that equation, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'd be fucking happy to see him there. I'm an Everson fan. I was like, when I was young, I was watching him winning races, and he is a character as well, so he does add something to the races. But I mean, if you have to put up 4 people, 4 Norwegians for any race, I just don't see which race he gets selected to.
Skiathlon.
Yeah, but as obviously as of now, like both you and me, Jimmy, we know that the dynamics in the Olympic skiathlon are gonna be somewhat different from the dynamics on this track in these conditions.
It's a lot harder track actually in Valley Famous,
So yeah, it's. I mean, I fucking hope that he's gonna go to Olympics, but I just don't see him going. Whatever. Or actually, maybe now that I think about it, maybe I actually do see him go. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I think he might actually go. Right, I've actually changed my mind. Okay.
Right. Anyway, moving on.
10K. Sunday. Tell us about your race, mate.
Nothing to tell, mate. I'm on the smell.
Dig.
Same as the race of Arkadali, so best result from the Arkadali International was like 36 or something. So yeah, we're not doing great, so we need to turn things around. But now, mate, we're going to turn things around. We're in Davos, sauna every day, training, coffee. It's going to be good. Right, tell us about your race then, mate.
I'll tell you about my race. I got the first split, and then I heard I was 1 second off Hedegaard, and I was in second. And usually I'm a slow starter. So when I got that split, I was sure that I was going to win. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, today's the day. Yeah, I know I'm going to win. And then as the race advanced, I started to get a bit tired. And then I started to get like cramps in my back, and I got like really stiff in my legs, and I couldn't really push anymore. And then like every split I got, I was like 2 places further back than the previous split. Oh, so yeah, it wasn't so motivating, that race for me. And honestly, I'm fucking depressed now, mate. And I know this sounds shit because I still was 10th, so it's still quite a decent result. But it's like the 10K skate, for me this year, that's what I had the highest hopes for Olympics. And I've done 2 10Ks this year, and I've been not really in a medal position in any of those. So now I'm starting to be like...
Yeah, but that's kind of what I was talking with... talking about a few weeks ago, was like in Baito you were not so good in classic distance, and then a week later you were on the podium of World Cup on the classic distance 10K, and so it can change. A lot of things can change from like... Yeah,
but I just do feel that I had such a good weekend in Ruka, and I think my shape was just really good, and everything sort of came together there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like a week before you had a super shit. A week before you had a super shit weekend, and you were like kind of hating life.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure now anymore if I had such a shit weekend. Maybe I just had a fucking good weekend in Ruka, and I'm actually a bit worse than I was in Ruka.
Nah,
I'm starting to go on the smell as well.
Do you want to hear something about splits that was funny? I got splits, so when I was starting to feel, I felt horrific during the whole race, but I got split after 1 lap. It was like, you're 10 seconds ahead of KOT, Gabe Gledhill, and I was like, oh, fuck, that's not good. And then I went to the next split, and it was like, you're on the same time as KOT, and I was like, fuck, that's really not good. And then the next split was like, you're 10 seconds behind KOT, and I was like, fuck. And I was like pushing as hard as I could, but
yeah.
Some days it just doesn't work. So
tell you what was exciting on the Sunday though, Maria Gismondi coming in 6th.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was very exciting. You know, she's insane. You know that she trains like insane volumes. I don't know exactly how much it is, but
I've heard 1200.
I've also heard 1200.
And I've heard that the day before the race, she did 2 hours in the morning and an hour and a half in the afternoon. I mean, that's not that crazy, but like, it's still like, that's an easy day before the race. You're doing like 3.5 hours is like, Not so many people do that.
When I was talking to Didi Knuckler in Livigno, he was telling me that he was talking to her at this. They have these races in autumn in Italy, and then he was talking to her, and she was like, "It's so shit because of the races. This is the first week in all of the year where I don't even manage to train 30."
What a tank!
Yeah,
Cool to see that.
good times.
It worked though.
Also, it's really good that we have this 10-minute segment on the podcast, which we do every weekend, and it's the Skirious debrief, and we're 22 minutes into our 10-minute segment now. So, Jimmy, I think we should wrap it up here.
Yeah. Make sure everybody to vote for NPC and MVP of the day. The vote is now active, so go on our story on Instagram and vote for that. Remember to like and subscribe, and this is your #1 Nordic podcast.
Skirious problems.